Hey everybody, Guy here from Chit Chat. Thank you so much for continuing to listen to our podcast. I think this is episode late 80s or 90 or something like that. And it continues to be a joy to produce this. And today was just that. My friend Dawn Zimmerman came on the podcast. I've known Dawn for a long, long time. And Dawn's just a really special person. She's a special person to me. She's a special person in this community. And we got to talk about some of the stuff that she's doing in her business, ways that she wants to get behind and encourage people and help them lead better in their organizations and in their community. So we got to talk about some of that. We had a little conversation about parenting as she's parenting teenagers, and I'm, a few years behind her with my kiddos, but I'm going to leave this in. This is telling me that I have somewhere to go, if you just heard that. But Dawn is special, and she's, we're lucky in St. Cloud to have her in our community. And I'm thankful and excited now that you get to listen to this conversation between me and my friend Dawn. Thanks, everybody. Hi, Dawn.
Isn't this cool?
It is so great.
Okay.
It's so great. Wonderful to be with you. Thanks for coming and joining us on the podcast today. And how sweet that Molly and the crew at District let us come and sit here. Dawn, you and I have known each other for carry the one, add the zero, I think quite a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know that I've shared on the podcast before, just kind of some of our, like kind of how we started Switchboard and some of that stuff, but you were the very first person who kind of encouraged me towards like not doing weddings anymore and doing commercial, and so all of that, just thank you. Fun to have you on the podcast and spend a little time with you today.
Yeah, super cool to see your journey and see
Thanks.
Yeah, where that one little idea took you.
That's right. That's right.
Pretty cool.
Dawn, you currently run a business called Waymaker Brands. I knew you. There was a business called The Right Advantage. You were doing a lot more writing at the time. Would you just tell us a little bit about Waymaker Brands and kind of what you care about?
Yeah, I feel like Waymaker is a journey for me. That started a long time ago, but kind of came to fruition a few years ago. But for me, Waymaker is really about helping organizations and really the leaders behind it identify where do they want to go, what kind of impact do they want to have, and then let's get after it together. And so it's been really fun to work with a variety of different organizations that aren't just looking to grow big or grow overall, but there's like a bigger meaning behind it on what they want to do with that. And so that's really what it's all about, is trying to feel like you're making a way where sometimes it feels like there's no way. And depending on something that is bigger and requires a little faith to say, we can do this.
Yeah. When you start in a relationship like that with someone where you're trying to like help them see some of that maybe in themselves or for themselves for the first time, or maybe they've acknowledged it and they say like, hey, Dawn, I need help kind of getting there. How do you kind of go about that? What's one of the first things that you do when you have a new client? Like, how do you source some of that information, or maybe do a little bit of that initial encouragement to move in the right kind of direction?
Yeah, I think that most leaders know where they want to go. They actually do have like this big vision in their head or in their heart. And so part of it is just like, let's talk about it. Let's get it out there. Let's be willing to dream and not hold ourselves back just because of the what if, maybe nots, whatever. And so I think part of it is just like, let's speak it out and talk about it. And then there's some encouragement around, okay, like, let's talk about how this would work, right? Because I think the vision is always there. It's the how that's super tricky that holds people back. And so being willing to say, let's go big, and now let's figure out how to get there. And I think when you can go from something super big and then show the kind of method of how you would get there, people get super encouraged because everyone loves vision.
Yeah.
Right? And they want to get after it.
The idea of it anyway.
Yeah, everybody wants to get after it. And everyone wants to dream big. And so the how, I think, helps organizations really say, okay, we can do this, and this is my part in it. And then bringing everyone inside the organization alongside of being a part of that to say, I can actually be a piece of this bigger story that's unfolding inside our organization.
When you're in some of those maybe early conversations, or maybe you're just engaging with someone who you think has some of this potential to maybe lead in that kind of way and to pursue vision, what are some of the things that you see consistently that hold people back from either like running their business or their organization like that, or their nonprofits, or even just like kind of living their life in that kind of direction? What are some of the things that hold people back from doing that in a really kind of sweet and meaningful way?
Well, maybe I'll answer it a different way of like, what does it take to move forward, right? And so I think we know the things that hold us back, we just don't know how to overcome them. And so the key of it is like, how do you overcome what's holding you back, right? And I think consistently what I see teams do in the midst of that is like, number one, just care. Like, we all care about each other, we care about where we're going, we care about the people around us. And so like coming from a place of like genuine care, I think is important. Having a shared commitment, like we're in this together, we have this shared mission. Like
with the leadership team?
Yeah. I think it can certainly transcend beyond that, but it's this shared commitment. Like, are we all aligned and clear about what we're really committing to that's big and bold? And ultimately, it's courage. And that's, I think, saying we can be bigger, we can be bolder, we can do things that are unconventional. And so let's have some shared courage here.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it takes like one person has more courage at some time and the other person has another courage at another time. Like, there isn't like everyone has courage. You sometimes just know like we're all in this together and we're all gonna have to like help each other move forward. Sure. So there is some shared courage that goes across the team. And then I think ultimately there's just this ability to collaborate. Because when you're trying to move forward, it takes a lot of collaboration. And we hear a lot about collaboration in our world. But true, genuine collaboration that solves problems, moves things forward, and does it in a really productive way is hard. Like, it is actually hard. And when you're moving really fast as an organization, it's even harder. And so I think that becomes kind of the ultimate at the end. Like, are we actually collaborating on this and moving forward together?
I forget what boxer. I think this quote is a boxer quote. And if I know a boxer quote, it probably means it's Muhammad Ali, right? I mean,
who else, right?
Who else?
I don't know.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? Like you head you head into this boxing match, and it all sounds great, and then one time you get punched, and then you kind of scramble. It feels maybe similar to that, like big vision. We know where we're trying to go. We've got all these hopes. The team, we just left a 2-day offsite, and we're moving forward together. And then you jump into like the slog of just like real every day, and you get that client, or you get that email from a client that says like, we got to fire and we got to solve this thing now. When you're kind of faced with some of those like real life challenges, the shine has come off of the offsite and this like vision stuff. What are some of the things that you see the best teams and the best leaders do to kind of keep that thing moving forward when they've been punched in the face, so to speak?
Yeah, well, I think a couple things. First of all, strategic planning can't be a 2-day offsite, right? It actually has to be a system because there's a quote I love by James Clear from Atomic Habits of, we don't rise to our goals, we fall to our systems.
That's so good.
And so I say that often, and I think about that often, is like, we can have big lofty goals, but think about January 1st, right? Like, people got big lofty goals, right? Like, we're going in with great intentions. We've done the offsite, right? And then like
January
February
3rd.
1st, you're like,
right.
What was it again? I don't remember. And so the system is really important, that there is, and that's what the kind of Waymaker concept is. Like, let's make a way, right? That is just becomes the rhythm of our organization, that this isn't a plan that we create and put on a shelf. This is actually a system at which we're going to operate that looks different. And there is a lot of times tremendous uncertainty when you set your vision and your goals, and even try to plan out 90 days. Like so much can happen in 90 days, let alone, one day. And so I think having the system is super important. And then knowing that there's going to be uncertainty and there's going to be change. And that's where I go back to that like shared commitment and collaboration to say these still are really important, and we're going to hold ourselves accountable to move this forward, because this ultimately is so much more important than anything else. And I think that being present day to day is a critical habit for every leader. Like, how can you be present? And present is an interesting place to be as a leader, because that means, like, if you're really present, you've got to be able to like see far and know where you're going, know what the next like series of chess moves are, and then be able to be in the moment with the person right in front of you, all at the same time.
In the last few years, I've really gotten into mountain biking a lot. And when you're a brand new mountain biker, you just look at the front tire, right? You're not comfortable on the bike yet. It doesn't quite feel natural underneath you to go over like rocks and roots and all that stuff. The better the mountain biker you are, the further away you look from that tire. And it's not because what's right in front of you doesn't matter, but you kind of learn how to remember that, right? And so like the really good riders, they're looking really far out, and they're remembering the trail as it's coming, and they're like letting the bike, this thing that they trust, kind of respond in the moment to that. I wonder if there's some element of that too, because like when you're riding a mountain bike, like you are completely present in the moment of like what is the tire touching. But if you're going to really be a good mountain biker, you have to stay with your eyes kind of, fixed ahead of you. It feels like a similar kind of thing. Have you ever ridden a mountain bike?
I have. Wow. Not effectively.
No, not effectively.
I mean, for long periods of time.
Yeah. Well, I would 10 out of 10 recommend trying mountain biking.
Yeah. I mean, I would say it, but like true mountain bikers be like, you didn't really ride that. I mean, that was a joyride, my friend. Yeah. Not like, did you go down the mountain and feel like you couldn't control yourself?
Right.
No, I would be scared.
What you said about the system too is that I think a really good system accounts for and plans for change and hardship and some of that stuff. Where if you don't have that, it feels like it could so easily crumble. But a really good system has prepared you for at least some version, right? Like we might not know what the challenge is that hits, but a good system should account for pain and issue and challenge to navigate together as a team. Taylor, our operations guy at Switchboard, I think it's one of my favorite things about him is that he thinks drastically different than I do. But Taylor is a systems guy through and through. And over the last couple of years, he has helped us implement systems into the business that have been invaluable to us. Taylor always says that he takes the squishy things and he makes them concrete. Switchboard started really with Ryan and I. We're not systems guys. We're creatives and whatnot. And bringing Taylor in and letting him, Taylor was with us for a long time before we kind of like unleashed him, like, okay, like fix it, like make a system. And even a guy who doesn't naturally like choose system, now having like a system around me, like there's something that's really comforting about the structure of that, even though it's not my natural default. Like if I didn't have a wife who was super organized and she likes to make the bed every morning, that's not what I would do naturally in my life, but like I kind of like that the bed is normally made and the sink is cleaned up. Like we have these rhythms now that aren't naturally mine, but I really like them. And so even people like me, it's really good for us to have systems. Do you find that even in your personal life, are you a pretty systems-driven kind of person?
It's funny that you say that. I think I'm not a systems person. Like if you do my Strengths Finder or you pick any of those tests out there, consistency is not at the top of my list. I love challenges. I like pushing. I like some variety. My life probably shows that. And so for me, the systems though help to keep me on track.
Yeah.
And help me to deliver the results I want. So for me, it's like beginning, the end in mind. I want results, and the way that I get results is through a system that drives it.
Yeah.
And so ultimately, no, like at the core, I'm like a lot of the people who are just want to set big goals and have big visions, and then you're like, oh, well, how do I actually get there? Well, it takes a system. And so I think I've just learned over time that that's what drives people together. But I wasn't wired for systems either.
Yeah.
I've just seen that it works, and I know that even for people like me who wouldn't have, the ultimate system for everything, it helps. Now I'm organized, like I am an organized person, but I can have a junk drawer or 3. I mean, I'm good. Like I'm not like that.
Yeah.
Everything has its place in my mind.
Even if the place is the junk drawer.
Even if it's like, we all got to have a place that's just like, and if you don't know, these are the drawers you go to. Yeah.
But did you check the junk drawer? Like, this is the question for the kids. It's like, hey, where's this thing? Like, did you check? Did you check the junk drawer?
Yeah,
first?
everyone needs one.
Yeah.
It's just like that. If you don't know where your stuff is, go check that spot.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that it is more impressive to me when people don't naturally gravitate towards like healthy diet, exercise, systems, like some of those things. If that isn't your bent, but you have figured out like, I have to do that thing anyway, that to me is such an impressive kind of thing. Because you had to overcome some aspect of your personality, I think, to get some of that rhythm. And I love when I have a dear sweet friend who he looks like one of the most kind of like, rigid in the right kinds of ways, in his diet and in his exercise and stuff. He just lives a very, very like controlled life, to the point where you would think like this is like a natural thing to him. He wakes up in the morning electing to eat healthy and some of this stuff, and he fights a demon every day to eat sweets. But he doesn't, because he knows if he wants to have a life in the kind of way that he does, he can't do that. And I love that it's not a natural thing for him, but every day he has to like fight and choose that thing. There's something that's kind of better to me about that thing. Okay, Dawn, you started your career in St. Cloud as a journalist for the St. Cloud Times. What are some of the things that you maybe learned early in your career about journalism or people, how to engage with people, that you're still, even though your career is so drastically different today than it was when you started as a journalist, what are some of those things that you maybe learned cutting your teeth as a journalist here in our community that you're still using in your everyday life or your work today at Waymaker?
Oh man, I think the biggest thing is to find great leaders and ask them good questions. I always believe that everyone has like a story to tell, and I always wanted to hear it. I mean, that's what got me into journalism, is I just believed that. And when I got to sit alongside really amazing business leaders, it motivated me. Like I never thought I would start a business. That wasn't my dream. But you surround yourself with people, it starts just helping you see something a little bit bigger and a little bit different. And so I still do that. I still find great leaders and ask them great questions. And learn from that. And I think as I've learned over the last, over 20 years in this community, I learn more and more, and every time it just humbles me more and more. Like it's not like, oh, I know all this, right? Or it just humbles me more and more to say, okay, what else can I learn? What else don't I know? What else don't I quite understand from that perspective that could help me? And no matter where I've been in my career, I think that has been important to my growth and allowed me to maybe see a piece of me that I wouldn't have seen otherwise. And I think I get to do the work I do today because while I was trying to tell their story and see something in them, or help them stand out as I went into other parts of my career, they also saw a piece of me and showed me maybe a little bit of, this is what you could do. Like you aren't actually gifted in this, and you have the ability to do this, and you've helped me do that, and so they showed me a piece of my story and gave me a bigger vision for my life too.
That's really, really, really fun. So from your time as a journalist, and is that when you were working for the Times, if someone said, what do you do? Is journalist, is that the word you would have used? Would have you said writer? Like, what would have your vernacular been then?
It would have probably been specific.
Okay.
So you usually say you're like, I was the business editor, I was, right, like a business reporter, or, yeah. But I guess ultimately journalism is the big word.
Yeah. So you went from your time working for the Times, and then went to the Right Advantage. So still using that curiosity, that question asking, and all of that writing, and then as you've now transitioned to this next step for you, the Waymaker brands, what do you think some of the main differences are between what you were doing, kind of your focus there, and what your focus is now? What are some of those differences, and then what are some of the things that have continued to pull through into Waymaker?
Yeah, I feel like I said I started in journalism because I believe everyone has a story to tell, and I wanted to tell it. And I think while I was working in journalism, I recognized not everyone knew how to tell their story or even how to see it or to recognize it. And so when I started my first company, it was really about helping business leaders uncover their story and tell it in a meaningful way. And ultimately that's good marketing, right? That just is like, how do you market? And so I spent a lot of time helping uncover the uniqueness and tell the story. And today it's going beyond where are we to like what is the bigger story that is going to be written for us and our bigger purpose. And so let's get beyond it. So I think that's the thread that continues through all of it. What's different? So much. I mean, I think sometimes I write very little today.
Yeah.
And
do you ever miss it? Do you miss writing?
No, I mean, I think I do write, I shouldn't say, I mean, I don't write stories anymore. I don't write long form. I don't write a lot of even marketing messages. The writing probably comes through, and how do we turn these words that we're trying to share in this meeting into something that we all can repeat and is portable and memorable, and how do we take these ideas and put it into something that turns into a plan. So I am still writing, but the purpose is so much different in how that's being done. And I don't miss the writing. I actually never felt like I was a great writer. I mean, I think someone told me my freshman year that I was a great writer in high school, right after another teacher told me I was awful. So I don't know what it means to be a great writer necessarily. But I just loved the structure of journalism and the way that it could have an impact in the community and how it could inspire people. I mean, that's what it was about for me. I know that's not what it's about for everybody, but that's what it was about for me. And so writing was just the mechanism. It wasn't like a core talent. Now I think people would say I'm really good at taking ideas and turn them into words. But that doesn't make me a great storyteller. That doesn't make me a great writer, necessarily. I think it's just a bigger purpose behind it.
As you talked about your association to words and to writing, it feels similar to photos for me.
Sure.
Like, for a season, the business, the only thing that I did was photos. And in a lot of ways, my world today is similar. Like, there's still a camera, there's still photos and stuff, but it feels like maybe a step beyond photos. And what can a photo do, and can it be a part of something much, much bigger? But I also don't have like a love loss. Like, when I want to pick up a camera, I'm happy to do it, and I do still enjoy it. But it isn't something that I need to do all the time. As long as I get to be a part of these kind of like bigger stories and these bigger things, I'm really, really happy. Interesting. You're a transplant of sorts. You've been here for 20 years. What are some of the ways that you have seen our community, and again, just as you've really pushed into our business community and with a lot of leaders in our community over the last 20 years, what are some of the things that you have seen kind of shift and change about kind of like the landscape of our business community or the leadership community here in St. Cloud?
Wow, our community has changed so much. I think it has grown so much. And I think what's happening now is there's just a variety of leaders that are seeking to understand a little bit around where have we been, and where are we now, and where are we going. And it may be what hasn't changed that I love is that you can come together here despite the growth, despite the changes, despite, like, I can list a million things that's changed, right? But what hasn't changed is that leaders can come together and say, how do we solve some problems together? What does that look like? And there are leaders that we all know we can count on in this community to come together and do something really good, really powerful, and really meaningful that outlasts them. And so I think that's been so important to this community, and those leaders sometimes change, right? New ones have stepped forward, and but at the core of who we are, there's just this commitment to do something good here and to want to make a difference. And I mean, that's why we made it home. This isn't where our families are, but for us it was, small enough to be seen, be known, and do something that makes a difference, and big enough to have all the resources that you would want. And that's what I love about this community is that they're those leaders, even that I met 20 years ago, that just had these dreams and ideas that for this community are still here, and have taken that and made such a bigger impact, and not just for themselves, but for so many people and for this community, and they just want to keep seeking to be better.
Have you ever heard the little saying, like, don't meet your leaders, or, I forget exactly how it goes, but this idea that, like, sometimes the people that we look up to the most and we maybe put onto a pedestal, like, they're just real. They're real people with their own kind of foibles and faults, but when you're just looking at them, you never see that kind of thing. In your roles over the years, you've had a proximity to lots and lots of people that our community really looks up to, and as you've navigated some of that, and I'm sure on occasion, bumped into something where you thought, ooh, I wish that wasn't true of a leader, how would you encourage a young person that is, again, trying to grow and do neat things in their community, but they have people they're looking up to who maybe could get disenfranchised by an encounter or something with someone that they thought, because they've seen certain things, they thought they could trust or they thought they could, but then they encounter or engage with this human side of someone. How would you encourage someone to maybe push through a little bit of that disappointment that not all of our leaders are always worth looking up to? How would you navigate that?
I think that's interesting. I maybe was gifted early in my career that I could walk in and see, any CEO, right? Like make the phone call and the door opened and this 20-something-year-old walks in, right? Starts asking hard questions. And you get to see them be superhuman, right? Like, I don't know if, I still get nervous if someone comes and asks me like questions for media, right? So I think I saw the human side of CEOs and really amazing leaders early in my career, and that this was hard, and like they didn't have all the answers, and so I actually love that. Like, I actually love that we recognize there's not this elevation that has to happen, like where you're better than me or I'm better than you. Like, we all have a part to play and we all fall short. Like, every one of us falls short. And so I think whenever I see the human side, for me, it reminds me of like, oh, like I'm not perfect either.
Yeah.
Like there's a million ways that I mess up and I would need grace from somebody. And so what makes that person any different? And so for me, it's always been, we all got our stuff and we all have our weaknesses, and it doesn't matter where you sit inside an organization, that is an ultimate truth.
Yeah.
And so just being in that and going, you know what, it is actually through our weakness that we're made stronger, and that we need each other. And so don't elevate somebody too high, and don't expect perfection. I think that's not fair to them, and it wouldn't be fair to me, right? I wouldn't want it, so why would I give it to somebody else?
Yeah, that's great. Sometimes I wonder, you know, when you post online, you know, like there's this tension of like you would like to show people even something aspirational, like, hey, we worked on this hard thing, and there's this element of like, even in the best kind of way, sometimes I think even if our motivations are really great, that you want to post a positive thing because you might want to encourage someone that is not feeling in that kind of like positive space or in that moment. And so like even in your best, kind of in the best moment, you're like, let's post this good thing because it will help encourage someone. But I think also sometimes I think we go too far and we don't actually talk about when things are hard. And it's a thing that I kind of struggle with. Like, as Switchboard engages online and as we communicate stuff, what's the right cadence for how often do you say, man, this was really, really hard today? And, you know, I wonder if there's some element of that in some responsibility that we have to maybe communicate a little clearer about the challenge with ourselves or with our businesses and stuff like that. Do you know, as you've helped people kind of communicate in the past, do you have recommendations on maybe what some of that cadence could be, or how to think about when to share challenge and when to share the positive thing and encourage? Do you have any thoughts on that? Any wisdom, any insights?
Oh man, that's
for someone in the slog every day?
Yeah, I think it's hard because we do want to motivate, and positivity is super important, right? Like no one wants to hang out with someone who's like super negative, right? You're like, no one's gonna follow that person. Like it doesn't work, right? So we've got to be positive, but we got to be authentically positive, right? And so I don't think positivity requires us to ignore the negative.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what we do. Like we just show part of the story, not the whole story.
Yeah.
And I think the whole story is important. I learned early in my career from a leader about embracing failure, and I didn't. Like I think failure was like a super bad word growing up for me. Super like just it was the F word. And so I didn't want to be a failure. I didn't want to fail. And I think I learned failure actually is required of organizations and leaders that want to do big things. Like that's the courage, right? Courage to know I don't have all the answers. This may not work out. This is probably going to be really hard. We don't feel fully equipped for the journey ahead of us. And we may fail at pieces of this, but our commitment is to fail forward. And so we're going to talk about the failure as it's happening, and we're going to be committed to learning from that and really fail forward faster every single time. And so we're not afraid of the times where it gets hard because we expect it. And today I talked to a lot of companies about, you know, a growth curve. There's actually a growth curve that happens. And as we think about a growth curve, it creates tension. Tension is required for growth. And we know this when we're trying to like do physical things, right? Like if I said, go, you know, give me 100 push-ups, you're like, you know, like there might be some tension there if you haven't done it before. But if you keep doing it, it gets easier. And so every organization, every leader has to lean into the tension and know that in the midst of that, the hard things make us better. It actually helps us get there. And if we don't talk about it, then we're not moving forward as maybe as effective and as fast as we can.
I think the unique thing is that all of the stories we love, right? Like every heartfelt, emotional movie, like if you leave the theater and you're like, you gotta go see this, there was pain, there was loss, there was failure in that story. The stories that we gravitate towards, the people that we are the most, that we feel the most like pull to are these people that have overcome great things. We can even look backwards in our own life and see like, man, that thing was so hard, but I actually am thankful because of what it means in my life today. And still, when we look forward, we still have no interest. We're trying to like insulate ourselves, probably in some right kinds of ways, from failure, even though this is the path. This is the path forward through growth and expansion and all those things. Is that you have to fail. You have to stumble a little bit. But I love the fail forward thing. I love, if we're going to do it, and we're going to have to do it if we're going to grow, we need to use that failure. We need to use that pain to actually push us on to what the next thing is. But the stories that I love the most are these stories of like massive overcoming, and those are the people that we kind of want to be. Sometimes we just don't want to do the work of what it takes to actually get there.
Yeah, but it's so much more satisfying when you do, right?
Yes.
When you have to go through something hard, and I see this with teams, like, we're gonna go through this, it is hard, or we went through this and it was so hard.
Yeah.
And we appreciate the top of the mountain so much more.
That's right.
Like, oh my gosh, like look what happened, look what we did together, and look how much we grew, and those hard moments refine us to give us new skills, new experiences to approach the next thing that's even bigger.
If the helicopter drops you off at the summit of a mountain and you get to enjoy that view, the view is still beautiful, right? Like that thing is outside of us. It's, extrinsic to us. Not intrinsic. Extrinsic.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. It's still, none of that has changed, but our relationship to that thing is drastically different if we had to like work for it and accomplish something to actually get there.
100%. I mean, anytime anybody's gone on a hike or climbed or mountain biking, right? Like, it is actually the journey. It's like seeing the top and being like, can we get there?
Yeah.
How long is it going to take us? Are we there yet?
Yeah.
Is this halfway? Is this right? And then you get there and you're like, oh my gosh, this was totally worth it. Give me another mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. Whenever I'm on like big hikes and there are people coming down, I'm always like, so about how much for? Oh, great. Another couple of miles. Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's even when you're in the middle of it, sometimes we'd really like it to be over, but it makes the summit that much sweeter and that much better.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. Dawn, should we go for a drive?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Story is the driving force for us here at Switchboard. Story is also the reason that Chit Chat exists. We tell stories of the people around us through photos, videos, branding, and websites. Story helps us find meaning, and it draws a community together, and we would love to help tell your story. You can find us at www.switchboard.mn. We would love to meet you. We'd love to talk with you and learn more about the story that you are trying to tell and how our story-driven marketing tools can help you communicate better. Can't wait to talk to you soon.
Wait for it. I don't know. I'm trying to make room.
Right.
Because I don't need it.
All 4'11".
Yeah.
I don't know.
No leg room needed.
Here's the deal. I've known you for a while, so it's not like you being short like snuck up on me.
Yeah.
But earlier today, you told me your height. I don't know if I'd ever heard that it started with a 4, not a 5.
It's because I wear heels all the time.
Because everyone looks at you and you're like, that girl's tall. She must be 5 foot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But really, with no heel, we're talking sub 5.
Yeah, you see me with flip-flops.
Like at the beach, you're like, whoa,
There
Dawn!
is, it's funny actually. So most of the time, I mean, even tennis shoes give you some height,
bit,
right?
yeah.
And so when I just go to straight out like flip-flops and you run into somebody at like the grocery store or Target, there is a moment where people are like, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. What happened here?
Yep.
Yeah, my legs really are that short.
That's
I
great.
just lengthen them most days. So it's not awkward. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Simone Biles is for, I think you're tall in
I am
comparison.
taller than Simone.
Yeah.
I'm not as gifted as her though, so I feel
Right,
like when you're
right.
short and then you've got like that power, it's different.
Yeah, you can jump 100 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Lucy, my daughter, who loves gymnastics, she recently told me, I've maybe even said this here, but she told me recently that she's going to do the Olympics first and then Broadway, because you can be older. You kind of need to be a little bit younger to go to the Olympics. But then once she's done with her Olympic career, then she's going to go to Broadway.
I love that.
And I just, same. So it's like, girl, you can
Get after it.
do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But Lucy, who, loves gymnastics, she will tell you, she's like, she loves Simone Biles. She was Simone Biles for Halloween. She had a little she had like a red, white, and blue leotard on and a gold medal.
That's next level.
This was the signifying thing of like, of course you're Simone because you've got, the gold. But she'll always say like, and Simone is even shorter than I am, and Lucy's 11. Like
It's a thing.
That's a thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe after the Olympics last time, there was this graphic that went out, and it had like a freeze frame of Simone up in the air during one of her like the tumbling, running, jump, and then you spin, and it was like at the peak.
Oh, they measured, right? Is that the one that they measured?
Yes.
Because it's like she actually can fly.
Yes.
It's not like she's in the air.
No.
You were totally understating that. Like she was flying.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, I don't remember, but I think it was like she got a piece of her body like 14 feet in the air, which is impressive if you're 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
But she's 4 feet whatever. And it's like that thing that you're doing is it is unbelievable. Yeah.
The
and
power.
Just to be clear, you can't. That's
no.
not. Oh, okay.
No, I think people ask all the time because
like,
I'm short.
Oh, are you a gymnast?
Like, were you a gymnast? Can you go high? No, I can't.
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
And then you just see this expression. Just there.
You know what I love about gymnasts? My daughter's a gymnast. Is that to actually be a really good gymnast, besides having to be strong and work hard, you actually have to mentally overcome. Because you're going to try to do something that you don't know if your body can do it.
Right.
And then do it.
Yeah.
Like you got to believe. There's like gymnastics is so mental. I mean, I feel like there's a lesson in leadership there, but it's mental so much of the time that it's like, yeah, you got to put in the work and you got to be strong, but mostly you got to believe that you can do it. Because if you see this, I mean, gymnasts get injured when they like.
Oh yeah.
They feel like I can't do this. And I mean, even Simone was a, testament to that of like, mentally you have to be strong to do this sport, because if you aren't, it's, it's just not going to work.
When I was in high school, a lot of my friends who were girls were gymnasts, and they all had like massive knee stuff. Like we don't think about gymnastics as being like a dangerous or really like, other than like you have to be in shape, like physically intense. I didn't know any football players with like, the sport that we think of as this one that's like kind of violent and whatever. None of them were like on crutches out hobbling around, but every single one of my friends, every single one that was a gymnast at some point had ACL, MCL, all the knee stuff. It is a
part of the sport. And every time we've gone to the state gymnastics, even just for high school, guaranteed some girls out there, because it is part of it. And it's a hard sport.
Do you remember the 96? I mean, we're talking about the Olympics or gymnastics way more than I thought we would. This is fun.
Yeah.
I think it was 96, Carrie Strug.
Yeah. Devastating. From devastation
to like glory for an entire country.
Yeah.
That landing, and she's like
one foot.
She's like holding back tears, and then her coach goes and like picks her up. Oh, just like I could, I don't think I'm gonna cry, but it was so emotional. Even still, like you can feel that, like, that kind of like that pride, and it was just that it was all on that one single person doing all of that for our country. It was very cool. And I was like 11.
Think about how long she worked for that moment.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like just I don't feel like we have lots of those moments, but like she gave so much up and worked so hard for that one moment, and so to have it feel like it's gone. Like you've worked for everything and you can't
Yeah.
do this. I mean, the will of it to say, I mean, it's hard to land it with 2 feet.
Yeah.
I mean, try to land something with 1 foot. I
Yeah.
feel like by the grace of God, she landed on 1 foot. And
It was so good.
So good.
It was so good.
Still good.
How many of those little haircuts from that, over the course of the next 18 months, how many of those little haircuts do you think happened in our country?
Yeah, and how many people went to Halloween as her, right?
Yeah.
Like, let's
with
legit.
with like a little wrap on the
Yeah,
foot.
yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Like crutches down the way.
Yeah.
Like this is.
Lucy was Simone Biles, and we knew she was Simone because of the gold medals, right?
Yeah.
Like you would have known that Lucy was Carrie Strug if
Yeah.
she had the little crutches and the little wrap on the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. Overcoming.
Yep, that's right.
That's right.
That's right. Okay, so you said Ashley's a gymnast. How about Austin? Does he have a sport that he likes? Activities? What kinds of things do the Zimmermans find themselves participating in?
If fishing was a sport in high school, he'd be like
Varsity.
state tournament worthy. So I think his love is fishing. That kid knows more about all the things, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
He's got an engineer mind, so he's got it down. But if you have to go traditional sports, which is how high school is, baseball's his thing. He loves baseball, and he loves football too. But when your mom is 4'11",
There's going to be some limitations.
there's some challenges that you just have to welcome into your life.
That's right.
Yeah.
Does he enjoy fishing? Is he, or
Yeah.
how did Austin kind of
Yeah.
get it? How did he acquire it?
Yes, Ryan is passionate about fishing, always has. I think though, Austin has totally shown him that you can take your passion to the next level.
To the next level, yeah.
Yeah, and the amount of technology and intricacy on lures, and Austin makes his own lures. I mean, he's next level, and
That is that little engine in your brain.
Yeah, he catches super. He can tell you what he's going to catch, and he's dialed in.
Well, because he's throwing this kind of lure at this kind of time, and it's on the top of the water or it's at the bottom, and he probably knows all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just talking elementary. I mean,
You do not have to tell me. Yeah. Here's the deal. I think I like standing on a boat, casting. I enjoy that thing, but it is because somebody invited me and said hey, you should come with me and do this, and I'm like, oh, people, sure, I'll go and do that. But I never once have been what I'm going to do today? I'm going to go catch me a fish. That's just not my.
You know what the test
not my
of
thing.
how much you love fishing is? Would you go fishing when it's raining?
Never.
Would you go fishing when it's 40?
No, that's the
Yeah.
worst. Because in the winter, that's different, right? Because you're bundled and stuff.
Yeah,
If
and it's
you're-
warm.
Yeah, inside the little thing. But 40, that's brutal because it's probably a little bit windy. Yeah, he's doing all that.
Yeah, I mean, year round, let's make this happen. And he would probably prefer that he does go on the boat by himself and goes fishing, because then you can fish for whatever you want.
Is he old enough to drive the boat by himself?
He is.
How does Mom feel about that?
It's okay.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All
it's
right.
okay.
Yeah.
It's
The first time that he left on the boat by himself, how did you feel?
Well, here's the deal. When he first drove the boat by himself, it's incremental, right? We're
Yep.
raising kids here.
Yep.
So it's you can take the boat, but we want to see you.
Yeah. Go and
Right.
come. Yeah.
You can go, but
Yep.
make sure that we can see you.
Yep.
So then, if you can see him, you feel
That's
pretty
right.
good.
That's right.
And then over time, it's okay, well, you've got that down. So now you can go by yourself, and thank goodness that we got technology. We can track him. We can know where he is. So if something goes wrong, it's oh, he's not moving, or it didn't work, or whatever, right? You can.
And then call him.
Yeah, and see what's going on.
Yeah.
But no, he can drive that boat way better than me. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no comparison.
Yeah.
So
I get that.
what are you saying?
Just because he cares about it. This was no slight on you. It was praise for Austin and his love of the water. That's what that was. This was no slight on you.
Yes, love of the water. That's right.
It is unique as you're parenting, knowing when to when to let go and even when to push, and then each kid is so different too, so that even if you kind of feel like you've got it figured out, like how I'm going to respond to this, but then you hit the next kid and you're like, oh wait, that does not feel the same because you're a completely different person. So I'm having to respond in real time. James, the first time, maybe I shouldn't say this on, where it's recorded. The first time I left him home alone, I bet you he was, I'm just going to say the number. I'm going to say the number and then you have to keep listening to the end of the story. Okay. I think he was maybe 4 or 5. Listen to the end of the story. Don't make your judgment yet. James is so, ordered and regimented and responsible. He's
a firstborn.
Yeah, a very traditional firstborn. And he had asked, he said, as a little boy, I'd like to stay home. And I was like, no, you're not staying home, get in the car. So he had started to already ask a little bit. And then this is when Redbox was a thing. James is now 13, that he probably was 4 or 5. So we're talking about a decade ago. I had to go and return a Redbox, which is like 2 minutes from my house. Go drop off the Redbox. And I said, all right, buddy, let's go. We have to go return the Redbox. And he said, but could I stay home? And I just remember thinking to myself, like, of course not. And then I just thought through this thing. Could this be an opportunity to do that little bit of stretch, give him a tiny bit? And so I was like, okay, we just talked about it. Here are the rules. Who can you open the door for? And he started to say people. I said, no, it's a trick question. You can open the door for no one.
No one.
Absolutely no one.
Yeah.
Anyone that can get it is supposed to be in this house. Mama, she can get it by herself. She doesn't need you. And you have to sit right here. And so we have kind of this big bay. We have this kind of big bay window.
Away from all windows.
Yeah. Well, no, I wanted him to stay right there, right? You're not going in the kitchen. You're not plugging anything in. I'm just trying to think through. And when I said yes to allowing this thing, it was the reason you do stuff like that is because there's no way to get him to stretch to whatever that next hard thing is if you don't give them those little things. And he was so thankful and so excited. And I said, you have to sit right here. So I backed out of the driveway, and 4 minutes later, I was back, in the driveway, and he was sitting like this. So when I left, his beautiful little face, just sitting in the window because he was, short. He could hardly see over the window, just sitting there like this. And 4 minutes later, just sitting there like that. And it was just this really sweet little moment. Of course, I didn't tell Cassie right away that for 4 minutes, he was unattended.
Yeah.
But it was a really fun and really sweet thing for him to feel like he got a little bit more responsibility. And James always has responded well to responsibility.
Yeah. And I believe in you, right? Really what it said is
yes.
I believe in you.
I believe that if I give you the instruction of what you're supposed to do right now, that you won't deviate. You'll listen to Papa and you'll do it. But it was a very nerve-wracking 4 minutes.
Yeah, for sure.
And Lucy, she's just a different kid with different strengths and different, weaknesses and things. And I don't think I would have done that same kind of thing until she was maybe 8 or something, just because she's just a different kid, right? Just a completely different kid. And I think that's one of the interesting things as you're parenting is that they are just so different.
Yeah.
Have you found that in the Zimmerman home?
Oh
that
my
these
gosh.
2 kids that you're raising?
Yeah, created completely different. Grew up in the same house, right?
Same rules, same responsibility.
Yeah. What I actually love, because I got 2 teenagers, so it's a different world, is that they are so different and teach me something different. And I think when they get to be older, you see how they're a little different in what they bring to the family. Everyone collectively understands what they bring to the family. And so what I have loved the most is that each of them teaches me something a little bit different and makes me better in a different way. And together we're all different. So it's pretty cool.
When you think about who your child is today, as their personality, the little things that make them tick, the things that they struggle with, the things that they're really good at. When you think about that, you're looking at little adults here, right? They're knocking on the door of adulthood. So it's easy when you think about their little kind of identities and beings there. But can you see, can you bring yourself back to when that sweet little being was 6 months old or a year old? Do you see like similar kinds of things in your kiddos from when they were babies?
Oh, babies is hard. I think I saw their personalities different as babies. Like I think their personalities definitely are the same in many ways, but babies are so limited. I would say as young, like toddlers, for sure. I mean, by the time Austin was 3, he was building stuff and solving problems in my life. Like he could do that. Like he came almost out of the womb and able to do that. And so now it's just, he does it. I feel like I could give him any problem and he could solve it for me because his brain thinks that way. And that started, I think, when he started talking, you're like, oh, you think differently. This is pretty cool. So for sure, I think once they started talking and being, I can see a thread.
There's nothing that's surprising to me about my kids now. You know, it's like, oh yeah, like the first version of you that I met, this is just an 11 and 13-year-old version of that thing that I met. We have 2 really beautiful paintings. Matt Hebert did these beautiful paintings. One of James when he was 18 months and one of Lucy. And even in those little paintings, and they're just from these photos, but like it's still like their personality. Lucy, she's looking at the camera, like she's Pearson, like looking at you, and it's like she's like in the middle of a laugh, and it's fun and it's bubbly. It's like, oh yeah, this is still that's an 18-month-old representation of Lucy, and she is the exact person still today at almost 11 as she was right there. And James has this like contemplative, quiet little look. He's like looking up and away. He's looking towards something or at something, but he's not looking at you in the same kind of way. And it's like, oh yeah, this little thoughtful, contemplative, sweet guy who's happy. He's clearly happy there, but he's not like laughing or, he's not trying to be the life of the party there. It's like, oh yeah, this is still, I have this same 13-year-old kid here. I just think it's fascinating to like watch those little personalities grow. And
they're going to surprise you. Like I feel like when you're like, they won't surprise me, get ready.
In their personality, you think they'll surprise me?
I mean, maybe not fully in their personality, but I think you see, and we all went through it. Like there's a place where you have to figure out who you are and what your purpose is and all of that. And so I do think there is a stage where you believe you know your kids and you want the best from them, and they're going to go through some stuff to figure it out themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
And they will surprise you with some ideas and surprise you with some decisions. And I hope you get some surprises because I feel like that's part of the journey.
I mean, like, there are things that are, like, these moments that are surprising, but the person, like, some of, like, the motivation of, like, how we got there, it was always like, oh, that's, of course. It feels this, like, of course we got here in this kind of way because I know who you are.
I do think that you have, like, this idea, because you have been with this human since birth, of, like, this is who you are wired for. Like, this is who you are, and you can see it so clearly. But at some point, they don't see it so clearly, and you just have to like step back and watch and trust.
James and I have this little argument all the time. I'll tell him that I love him, and he'll say, no, I love you more. So he's even like, he receives my I love you and like turns it into this like, but you can't love me as much as I love you. And no, I love you more. And we get in this little battle of like who loves each other more. And then we usually give it's the same conversation always, but it happens nearly every day. You give like one of your arguments for why you think you're correct in who has the most love. And I always tell him, I'm like, I have loved you every second of your entire life. Like at like 100% of your life, I have loved you. You don't even remember me until a few years ago. You don't even remember me, and then he'll give me some like stupid argument because he's not right and he's not real. And then it always ends up with me saying like, I can't wait for you to apologize. Like, you're someday
when you become a dad,
you're going to hold your little baby and then the phone is going to ring and you're going to say, I'm sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Papa, that I said this absurd thing. Because you're going to know in a moment, you're going to look at your human and you're going to know there's no way this little thing could ever match this like feeling that I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, James and I, our little term for each other is best buddy. Like it's just and James is the one that started it. Like when he became a toddler, he used this little vernacular, best buddy, for Papa, right? And the irony is when I held him for the first time, like he had just been born and the midwife hands him to me. Like he's seconds old. I exclaimed, you know, like if you like fall and like the wind gets knocked out of you, like the sound that comes out of your body is not, you're not really in control of that. Like this wind has been forced from your body and it comes out in a sound. I had the same thing. It was, you're my best friend, which I'll be the first person to tell you, like, parents aren't supposed to be best friends. They're supposed to be parents, and it's its own beautiful, unique kind of relationship. But it isn't friends, and that's not a diminishing thing. It's like because parents are better. You know, like this relationship that we're supposed to have is better than us being friends. So I would give you some of that kind of thing, and still, like I even believed it then. I don't think I would have ever called. I love my parents, but I would have never called them like friends. We had something better. We were father and son, and mother and son. You know, these were better. And you're my best friend. It just came out of my mouth. And then he doesn't remember that. He doesn't know that. And it started this little expression of best buddy. And still to this day, like it's our little thing. And then Lucy's is best girl, best papa. And so it's just this fun little thing. Parenting's great, huh?
It is. It's the best thing. Best thing I've ever done.
Yeah. Fun. All right, let's go. Let's head on in. And then we did it. Like days later, we
Drop some paint.
We dropped some paint. And every year, we're going to keep adding a new color to it. So it looks like this right now.
Oh.
But every single year, and we want to grow like a fun little kind of like public art event where people come and for the annual dripping.
The annual dripping.
We're going to need a better name.
I think so too. It feels less
not
inspirational.
Right. Yeah. But hopefully, I mean, we had like 10 or 11 people that were there for number one, and we're going to keep trying to grow it. And we'll pick a new color. Jeff Gow was there, and then he said, like, who's going to pick the next color? And I was like, I mean, Jeff, I think maybe you have to pick the next color, because he and Chad did that cool one over there. And so we'll see. Okay. Would you come over? You sit here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. You get to pick your spot here at the end.
That is super funny. You could just put it wherever you want.
All right. I'll pick a really fun spot
Make sure
for
it's
you.
tall, so they're going to be like, how'd she get it up there? Just kidding.
Okay, and so just sit a little bit closer.
Yeah, except this is where I need the booster, in case you guys were wondering. It's a little booster needed.
That's right. Okay, Dawn. Over the course of the last 2.5, 3 probably years, you have given a disproportionate amount of time and energy towards Celebrate Minnesota. Would you just like tell us a little bit what is or was Celebrate Minnesota, and why have you continued to like push in to Celebrate Minnesota in the way that you have?
Yeah. I think Celebrate Minnesota started as this idea to have a 2-day festival that just brings the community together and brings hope. Mm-hmm. And I got the invitation to be a part of that from, some leaders I totally admire. And after that experience, and I would even say before, it was like, oh, this isn't just a 2-day. Mm-hmm. Like this is something that maybe is going to last in our community. And we didn't know what it meant. But right around that time, we had leaders that just continued to come together and say, okay, this is a catalyst. This was a catalyst, but what do we want to do? And so Celebrate Minnesota is now a nonprofit that's really just committed to reaching and equipping this community to have everlasting hope. And so it's fun to see all different churches come together, all different business leaders come together, civic leaders come together with just a shared mission to do something that is really transformational in the lives of people here in our community.
So as far as the big events are concerned, we just had number 3. Are we at 2 months ago, 6 weeks ago? I don't end of the summer. And I mean, the last 2 are in and of themselves, they're really incredible, really well run, really great events. And they're so small in comparison to the first one, that 2-day event. I remember just like walking through that event being like, how does St. Cloud, like we don't feel like a big enough community to have something like in our own grass, like it was at the Whitney or Y Whitney in the grass there in the kind of the big plaza there. It's like, how is that here? Like I didn't drive to the cities for this. I'm here in my community for something that was so big and so cool. It was just incredible to see. And again, the way that stuff like that happens, if people show up and work together, and yeah, super fun. So we had the really big 2-day one, and then we've continued in these annual concerts and stuff. But there are other things that Celebrate's doing. Where do you think Celebrate Minnesota is going? Where is it headed? What do you hope happens?
Oh man, I think we just keep dreaming and going at it open-handed to say this is bigger than we can put on a piece of paper and of what it could do. I think the bigger thing though is beyond being the festival in the field was cool, but it wasn't sustainable.
Right.
It's hard to do that year after year after year. And so I think the heart of Celebrate Minnesota is what can we do that is sustainable and is scalable, right? Like it keeps growing. We don't have to be limited by anything. And so we have the ledge, and it is something that's, I think as we bring in new artists from all over the nation, they are like, you have this in your backyard? And we're like, we do. Isn't that cool?
It's so pretty.
There's something super special about the ledge. And I think although it's smaller in scale, we get to invite people into the ledge through Celebrate Minnesota that wouldn't otherwise go there and experience something that they wouldn't otherwise do. And that is just, it's the core of what we're doing, but it's not the only thing we're doing. There's a lot of other events and other activities throughout the year to really find ways to reach, uplift, inspire, and unleash a generation.
Yeah, it's cool. There's a Christmas concert that's coming soon. I mean, as we record this, we're kind of middle-ish of November. Tell me a little bit about the Christmas concert. What's it going to be? Where's it going to be?
Yeah, so we are hosting a Christmas concert. It will be at Calvary. Free.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, there, just for you.
Thank you.
Free and open to everyone. I mean, the goal is to say, like, all are invited, all are welcome here. Come together and let's experience something that feels really uplifting, powerful, and everlasting in that moment. And so December 21st, and we're just excited for it.
Yeah.
After the first year we did a free event as the festival, and the last 2 years at the Ledge is required for payment. And so this is free. I mean, people have been asking, can you do something free? And it's our heart to continue to give back and provide opportunities. And so this is just one of the ways to do that. And we hope that people will invite people. That's the whole goal, right? Let's do something that brings everybody together and gives an opportunity for something different, because one night can change your life.
Yeah. Wonderful. Well, sweet. Dawn, thank you for coming and joining us on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You have been an inspiration to me for a very long time. And I know I kind of opened with it, but when I think about my career and just kind of like where I am, there are a couple of people who I think I'm here wherever I am. I think I'm here in part because of a few really specific people, and you're one of those people. Your level of encouragement, I think a sweet thing to do. And maybe if you're listening to this, if you think of someone in your circle that you see something valuable in them, one of the things that you can do for people, and it's something that you did for me, was like You had better foresight of the journey ahead than I did, and you removed roadblocks. And so I think just as you're listening to this, if you see someone in your life who has something cool that they could be a part of, or a vision that they care about, something that is deep in them that they kind of want to get out or need to get out, or maybe you're seeing it for the first time. If you see the road ahead of them, just like go ahead of them a little bit and be like Dawn and just like pull out a couple of those roadblocks. And then the truth is, like, the person that you're helping, sometimes they probably don't even realize until later when they have been down the road a little bit further and they have more of a vision of what's behind them, how those people kind of aided and assisted. And you, my friend, you did that for me in some really, really sweet ways. And so I say just continue. Thank you. Thanks for doing that for me many, many years ago. And just, I know that you care about that for other people and do that for other people. So I just personally, publicly want to say thanks for being you.
Thanks for saying that. I only can do it because people did it for me.
That's right.
Right?
That's it.
I mean, that's it.
That's it.
It's not like nothing powerful about Dawn. It's just someone did it for me,
Yeah.
and let's do it for someone else.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Dawn. Really a treat to be with you today, and
Thanks.
we'll see you soon.
Yeah.